Hi, comic readers, and welcome to a new episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
This is the comic book show where we take books from the past week and then we talk about them and then let you know what we think about them and then recommend comics that are coming out this week that we think that you should check out. We should also mention that this week is the beginning of New York Comic Con. Starts on Thursday, ends on Sunday. Woo! I'm excited.
I am, even
if I don't convey it. Yeah.
I was gonna say it seemed like I was sarcastically dancing.
No,
I think it's just because, like, I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
like, I feel like I'm behind in terms of all the things I need to do before we go to con.
Yeah.
And so, like,
Yeah.
I'm like here, but there's like 25% of my brain that's like, okay, I need to do this, and I need to get that, and I need to make sure I do this, and I need to look up that, and like, you know what I mean? Like, just like it's that time. It's that time of the year.
I agree. Yeah.
It's con season, folks.
Yep.
And a lot of people have already hit their big cons for their areas, but like for us, October is a big month for us because we do New York and we do Baltimore. So it's like the beginning of the month and then the end of the month.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot. But Baltimore admittedly is a little less, like, it's more like relaxed. Like, we go to go and enjoy.
We have no
ourselves.
table, we have no panels.
Yeah,
we have
and not
nothing.
that we don't enjoy New York, because we definitely enjoy New York, but New York's a little more worky.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little more on the work.
But the fun work kind. I'm excited about
except
it.
for Sunday, which is just like, woo!
Yeah. That's
Comics.
True. Woo. Yeah, listen, if you want to meet us or you want to hang out,
which, I mean, based on what you're seeing here,
why wouldn't you?
Oh, come on!
But we're going to be sharing space at the Kubert School of Art booth in Artists Alley on Saturday from 12 noon to 1:30. So if you want to come by, you can actually purchase a sticker or a poster or a hat over at that booth. That is 1A7. It's actually right next to the New York Comic Con info booth.
No, it's the merch
or merch booth, I should say.
It's
the merch booth. So 1A7, Artist Alley, go down there. Basically, you go down the escalator, turn right, go all the way to the end. You'll find us there. But look for the Joe Kubert School of Art banners.
Yes.
On Saturday between 12 and 1:30, and we'll be there. And we'll do a whole thing. It'll be dope.
It better be.
So that's it. That's all I need to tell you about. We may do, should we do a meet and greet, irrespective of that?
I don't know.
Right? I don't know either.
No, I feel like not. I feel like we want to make people come to that.
I think you're right. I think that's it. I mean, listen, we maybe because whenever we do a thing, it runs long, and
I cannot let it run long. I have a commitment.
I know, yeah.
After that, so
Yeah.
like I will not be able to do that. I will just go away.
That's right.
But that's fine. You're there for the Bens and the Ethans and the Sals.
I think a lot of people are there for the Tiffany's
and like occasionally the Tiffany's, but like I get it. So I gotta go afterwards.
But yeah, so we look forward to seeing you there. If you do run into us on the floor at New York Comic Con, say hello. Don't be afraid. And if you want to do a selfie or something like that, I don't like to offer them only because it seems really narcissistic and presumptuous. So, if you want to do that, ask. Just be like, yo, can we do a thing? And I'll be like, yes. Every time I'll do it, yes. So, say hello if you have an opportunity when you're on the floor. Or if you're at the
also, you
city.
don't have to have a photo. If you just want to say hi.
If you just want to say hi, that's good enough. It's good enough for me.
Just you can sidle up.
Just be like, what up? I know you.
Maybe don't do that.
Don't do that, please. So let's talk about
that immediately. I was like,
I don't like that.
Nope.
But let's talk about some new books that came out this week.
Talk about them.
We think you should check out. I'm going to really briefly talk about a book, and then I'm going to hand it off to Tiffany to cover a bunch of her titles. This is, of course, from Ram V and Raphael Albuquerque. It is Detective Comics number 1064. This book has always impressed me with its incredible cover work.
Covers, man,
just outrageous.
Every time I see works like this, like these types of art pieces on the covers of comics, I'm like, I wish we could get. I know a lot of these pieces are bought up by collectors, and some larger collectors have quite large collections. And I'm like, where are the curators to get some sort of traveling exhibits so that we could see these things in person?
I agree. At the very least.
Now that said, a lot of it is digital now, so it's a little harder.
Yeah, but I would like to get a print of this at some point. I never see them anywhere. But yeah, this is just. It gives you a little bit more context for the Talia involvement in this story. Batman and Talia spar, but before that, she is talking to when she was earlier raising Damien. She recounts to him a story from Middle Eastern folklore, and basically, it is meant to be kind of a parallel, but then it turns out to actually be a word of warning because it's directly connected to what is coming and the invasion of this new impending overseas force that's coming to Gotham. It's only a force of 5 or 6 people, but it's still formidable because they have the occult on their side,
right?
And
and Batman loves that,
and Batman loves that. He's really good at fighting it.
He loves it, and he's excited to be a part.
But it's just it reads very quickly, but there's some incredible work by Albuquerque that is just like classic Batman stuff that you want to see, and it just reads really well, and it feels like it's a very mature book. But I don't mean that in terms of like what Black Label is supposed to be. I mean like it just reads like it is written for adults.
Yeah,
like it's a grown up kind of like heady Batman story, and I highly recommend you check it out. It's a good book, and it's worth your time. The backup by Gordon just ended, so Spurrier is now completed with his backup by Gordon. But I feel like it's not the end, because Gordon essentially gets a Robin at the end of the story of his own. So you should be reading the backups when they have Cy Spurrier's name on them.
Yes,
Tiffany has taught me that.
Yeah, it's just a general rule, just a general good rule. 10 out of 10 rule.
10 out of 10 or 1064. Read it. Detective Comics. Check it out.
Nice.
What else you got, Tiffany?
I just want to I haven't I feel like all I've been talking about is just
X-Men.
And Jesus, yeah. So this week I went out of my way and grabbed
Gambit. No.
No. I went out of my way and grabbed Briar, which is a Boom Studios book.
Oh yeah,
it's written by Christopher Cantwell with art by German Garcia, which I'm 99% sure I've seen their art before.
Yeah, in Artist Alley. Like I feel like we've seen this before.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's very familiar looking.
Yes. Anyway, I just want to say I read this, and I don't get a chance to really talk too much about indies any longer. But as much as I like them. But I picked this up and it was fun. It's like a 4-issue mini.
Okay.
That's a mini.
That's a mini, all right. Mini. Yeah.
Is my understanding for this book. And it's a fairy tale. It's you're taking the Sleeping Beauty story and turning it on its ear, where it's it's kind of interesting. Like the setup is that she does all the tropes except her narrator is dead. And so
okay,
he's dead, so there's no one to tell her the end of her story. She has to decide it on her own.
Oh.
But the guy who was supposed to save her, no, he instead met up with her dad and then was yeah, I could kiss her and wake her up, or I'll just marry her. And then I don't know how that all works shaked out, but he married her and just took over the kingdom, and he was real bad at it. And so she just stayed sleeping for who knows how long, until eventually someone did wake her up, but she's all weak and skeletal, and it's crazy looking.
That's
and,
cool.
It's it has vibes of sort of Conan-y, with just different tribes of people, different sort of mystical, magical, but not in the supernatural paranormal elements, but not and sort of fantasy, but we're definitely dealing with fairy tales.
Yeah.
And a little John Carter, because she's new to all this, you know what I mean? But it's a fairy tale.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of interesting. It's 4-issue mini, so very not a big time sink for me to grab that. And I really like this art style. Very different.
Yeah.
Pretty loose looking. But it's fun. Boom does these little stories here and there. Some of them are bigger than others. But they're trying things.
Good.
So I thought I would check one out this week, and
nice.
I did.
Good for you. I'm glad you managed to eke out some time, because I know your time has been very limited lately.
It has. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, there's quite a few things that I've that I've read, but before I jump into them, I should mention that this show is sponsored by viewers who are watching the show right now.
What?
Yeah, that's right, and they can sponsor today's show by using Super Chats, ask a question or comment. We'll read it here on the show as a result, and then we don't have to have any other sponsors. It could just be you guys keeping the show pure and clean, and not letting those companies come in here and be like, I don't really like what you said about that other thing. We can just be as free and open as we can. Like these fine people right here, which, by the way, if you want to give us a like, it helps us out. Brian Rowland says, I was excited for Tim Drake Robin until I opened the book. Don't know if it was the art distracting me from the story, but I hated it. All Comic Pop rules. Thank you very much, Brian. We really appreciate you, and thank you very much for your little review of the book. I had a chance to take a look through Robin. Didn't care for it myself. I don't care for the direction they're going. And I especially don't, the art is the art, and it works sometimes. I don't think it works in this particular case. Danby 900 returns to say, I know you didn't read the first issue of Superman Space Age when it came out, but did you get a chance to catch up with issue 2? It's great, and it really feels like a spiritual successor to The New Frontier. There just aren't enough comics like Superman Space Age right now with the way superheroes are portrayed, and it's much better than most of them. I have not read it. It doesn't come up on my radar too much, and so I haven't read it, but I'm glad to hear that it is pleasing and that it is catching. I saw a few people in the comments agree with you, so I'm happy to see that that book is reaching its intended audience. That's really nice. I'm glad to hear it. Adam Thenhouse says, finished cataloging my collection, so I wanted to give back to the best comic channel in the biz. That reignited my obsession to keep the lights on. Thank you, Adam, and congratulations on your house cleaning.
Yeah, it's not easy to do.
It's not. I have probably 100 books that need to be cataloged right now.
I mean, just in general, that type of thing is hard because it's like you have to do it. It's daunting, and then on top of it, you get distracted.
Yeah, that's right.
You get distracted sometimes. You just see an issue or something, and you're like, ooh,
ooh.
And then you're gone.
Yeah. Ray Farr, if I were able to go to New York Comic Con, I'd put this $10 towards a ComicPop poster. Keep even awesome. PSL looking at the Best Buy that Speeding Bullets figure. Okay, I will check it out. Best Buy. Got it. Okay. Thank you very much, Ray. And we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
Yeah, hopefully one day we will see you, because there's 5 more, because I'm going to be listening to you guys while I give my orange tabby a bath. I'm going to look like I fought a Wolverine when we're done. Peace. Good luck with that.
Much luck. I hope it's all going well. We send our thoughts and prayers.
That's right.
Because literally there's nothing else that can help you.
No, it's
those will not help you at all.
It's going to be hard.
I mean, maybe you'll be surprised. Maybe your cat is just like, hey, you know what? Times have changed. I'm feeling better about things, and I am okay with this.
Right. Yeah, it's so rare that's the case.
You see those cats on the internet. And I'm like, yeah, no.
No.
What did you do to that? What did you give that cat?
Exactly. Silvery Cricket, probably can't stay for the whole stream, but just wanted to say I really like that new Spider-Man issue until the last 3 pages. Interesting. Oh, we will get into it. I promise you. Pedro Vengas says, never did I think I would cry at Amazing Spider-Man 10, but here we are, especially with the Aunt May panel. Nice. Yes. It is a deliberately emotive book. It's trying to tug at your heartstrings, and we'll talk more about it more deliberately, but it's interesting how polarizing that particular issue has become. Gianluca Zilio says, it sucks that living here in Italy, I'll probably never going to meet you guys. Really hope you have a great Contober. Oh, I like that.
I like that a lot too.
And thank you very much, Gianluca, for watching all the way from Italia. We do appreciate it, man. I haven't been there in many years.
But you've been. I've never been.
Oh yeah, that's true. Your boy Drew, thank you very much for your support,
man.
You. And Matthew Terlaga, Amazing Spider-Man confused me. Wasn't it revealed that the last time Gwen was alive that she died hating Peter because she was conscious on the bridge the whole time? At least he passed, so that's something I guess. Yeah, they don't care about continuity, particularly Gwen's, and they just threw it away. They just threw it away. They don't care. That's the only answer I have for you. Rayumbo. So I've never been on an X-Men fan, but I've only heard how great they are. Comixology has an X-Men sale. Recommendations?
No,
I mean,
you can't ask me.
You could just jump on
about the new stuff, but like I have a feeling what they're talking about is some of the past stuff that like people.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, like there is no starting point for the X-Men except for if you want to get into it now, Hox and Pox is the way to start it, and then you can read the current X-Men run. But just getting into X-Men.
Yeah, I was gonna say additionally, like you could also look at some of the like other teams that aren't the main one, like. Some of them skew a little more genre heavy even in the past, and so that might be a gateway as well.
Right. Excalibur, for example, is very much like a genre bent book. X-Force, X Factor. But honestly, like if you're looking for just to know who the X-Men are, you can't go wrong with reading like the classics. There's no good starting point for the X-Men. So I would say you just jump in and then you see what you respond to and what you like the best. Like I would recommend that you read something like the Phoenix Saga or the Executioner Song or something around that concept, because it'll introduce you to a slew of characters that you will be able to identify immediately, whether you like them or you're responding to them or not. And then you can go down the rabbit hole. You're like, oh, for example, like I remember I was reading like Fatal Attractions for the first time, back when I was a kid, and I remember reading some Excalibur book and really identifying with Nightcrawler, and I really liked them from the arcade machines. I want to know more about Nightcrawler, and so I read more Excalibur, and I read his mini series, and as I read more of Nightcrawler, I'm like, okay, he's cool, but I don't really care about this character as much anymore. So then I moved on to another character, but that will happen when you're going through that. So that's what I would recommend. But yeah, man, I mean, like, you could read Inferno, you could read The Mutant Massacre, you could read God Loves Man Kills. Great, like, just intro. It's a self-contained, very short story that, like, bleh, here's X-Men. You know, there's a couple of smatterings of them, but anywhere you start is going to be in the middle of it. That's how that's something you should know about X-Men. So I read this. It's Batman: The Audio Adventures. What did I do that for? There we go. Batman: The Audio Adventures. This is an interesting book. I have no idea, like, the history or the concept behind it.
Okay.
I know that they had launched like a radio drama kind of recently, and so I thought maybe there's like some kind of adaptation thereof. But yeah, The Audio Adventures for Batman, written by Dennis McNicholas, I should say, with art by Anthony Marquez.
Hey,
exactly, and
how exciting!
The art's great. It's very youthful and fun, and I really enjoyed it. The story is very it reminded me very much of, like, serial Batman stories from, like, the 40s, and, like, you know, those live action serials that, like, no one's seen, or the radio dramas like Superman's Radio. Like, you know, it reminded me of a little bit, but with less, you know, like, cultural attention to detail. Something like Superman Smashes the Klan. Like, it reminded me of a kind of like all ages story featuring these major characters. I had heard Marquez refer to critics or detractors of the book. He introduces a few, like, redesigned versions of classic Batman characters. Killer Croc is there, and someone said they looked like a Muppet. Like, the design for Killer Croc was like a Muppet, and he liked it so much that he was like, okay, like, then you know what? I am going to keep drawing him like a Muppet.
What?
And honestly, like, I'm glad he did, because I really kind of dig it. Like, I think that when you when you are reinterpreting characters for the first time, or when you're interpreting a character for the first time, and you're, like, giving people this kind of, like, insight, you have a responsibility to give us, like, a new version of that character. And I really like it. It's cute, and it plays with conventions like the Harley Quinn origin, the origin of Baby Doll. There's a lot of neat stuff in there, so you should definitely check that out. Especially if you have young children, they're gonna dig it.
Oh, this really?
Yeah, this.
Wow.
I know. Nikki Goods, thank you all for doing what you do. Comics have helped me while grieving since my daughter passed away. My personal favorite character is Elektra. Well, I'm really sorry to hear about your loss. That's really sad, and I know I'm not saying it terribly sad, but I'm just, you know, trying to keep the show going. But I'm really sorry to hear that, and I'm glad that we could be there for you during this time, for you to just kind of, like, let go, or just kind of, like, be in something else for a little while. Elektra's dope, man, and if you like Elektra, you may enjoy the upcoming Back Issues episode that's coming in about 2 or 3 weeks, depending on when the hell we put it out, because I'm a little ahead.
You're a little ahead, but we're also trying to get Halloween stuff, which we're running out of time.
Yep.
That happened way too fast.
Yep.
And we didn't realize how many people were not going to be around.
Nope.
Oops.
But thank you very much, Nikki, for your support, and
yes.
We wish you the best. Ray Farr, my cat was such a good boy, he cried, but that's it. Oh, good.
That's excellent.
All right. Crying I can deal with.
Yeah, shredding less so.
It's the shredding, yeah. What else you got, Tiffany?
Shredded. Like Kylo Ren. Oh, by the way, that was the super sticker from before.
Oh, great.
His little Shiba.
Yay.
Squishing his face.
Man, that guy, your friend's a liar, dude, because that Kylo Ren's a punk bitch.
I read Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
Yay.
Jean Lewin Young with art by Marcus Toe. It's really funny. For, like, a part of this issue, like the very first couple of pages, it, like, felt for a second like it was a different writer. I was like, this is weird. It just didn't feel quite as good. And then, like halfway, maybe less than that, like, immediately I was like, yay, we're back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
But, you know, the gist of it here is that those, like, MI6, was it MI6?
Yeah.
Stole the 10 rings from Shang-Chi, and he's fighting a guy that they basically, like, rebuilt and set, like, deprogrammed him and made him fight him.
Okay.
Right? But what are they trying to do? They're just trying to, like, decommission them, essentially, which is kind of a good idea.
Yeah.
But, like, Shang's like, no, first he stole them from me. Second of all, like there is something about it that he's like, no, I need to do this, right? Like these are mine, right?
Yeah.
So they call in somebody from MI3.
Okay.
And she uses a spell to imprison them in a stone.
Okay.
Like Excalibur.
Yeah. Oh.
But what ends up happening is as she's doing it, they combine into one ring.
Oh no, that's interesting. To rule them all.
But it's not like a full ring. Like there's like a section of it like missing, kind of.
Okay.
But when they combine, they open a portal.
Oh.
And like,
where does it go?
Not good places. Let me tell you that right now. Like, not at all. It's like, it's kind of very fortunate this is happening now. It's like we hit like spooky month, you know, as a lot of people call it. And yeah, like I was like, yes, this is not like committed to being horror, but I was like, ooh, a little bit of like some spooky stuff.
Yes, a sous-sol, if you will.
Yeah, instead where it opens up as a portal to is the Worm of Desolation.
Okay, cool.
Which is like, it looks like it's like pieces of things. I don't know. It's horrifying looking, and like if some of it comes through and like it grabs one of the guys and like pulls him through, and they close the portal, and they're like, okay, well, it's in the rock, and you know, everything's been taken care of. We're good.
Right.
We lost that one guy.
Okay, we are gonna lose a few.
Listen. You sign up to be in this department,
right?
You're gonna lose a few. I mean, I have a feeling that guy from MI6 did not anticipate going up that way.
Probably not.
Like you looked at your application opportunities. You're like M13 or MI3, and then
I always thought it was it's MI3 or MI3. I don't remember, but yeah, like you said,
right? Like, you know, one or the other. I'm gonna go with 6.
Yes.
It just seems like, I mean, I might be shot, stabbed, or like, you know, poisoned.
Sure, but I won't be like torn asunder by mystical worms.
I won't be pulled into another dimension by some horrific beast beyond my comprehension and then not return.
Right, yeah.
Oh, it happened anyway.
Oh, look at that.
So, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, that guy.
I mean, listen, if you're part of any MIs in the Marvel Universe,
I just feel like
you run the risk.
You think you're going one way.
Mm-hmm. And then you're going down instead.
Horrors, just jumping out at you. You had nothing to do with. You were just there helping.
Yep.
You had a hazmat suit on. You were just there helping, which is really the problem. You were wearing a red suit. I mean, it just goes back to the red shirts. You were just.
Oh yeah.
You were expendable. You did not have a name,
and you knew it.
Yeah, you did not have a name.
Yeah.
That's. Sorry.
So how'd it go?
But a piece of it got left behind.
Oh no!
It immediately attacks another guy. It goes in his mouth and then like shoots out of his mouth and eyeballs, which I was like, okay,
cool.
We're doing stuff. Shang has to team up with the,
he has to punch him
the team, and like he pulls the ring from the stone.
Okay, of course.
And then breaks them back apart and is able to use them to extract it from him. But like this worm thing just keeps saying how lonely it is. I'm like, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Creepy and like simple.
Yeah.
There's something about that where it's just like, I'm lonely, join me. And I'm like,
no.
Okay, no.
That's great.
No.
Good. That's a good kind of horror. Yay.
So he sends it back. Then it's like, I'm taking these and I'm leaving.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And what are you gonna do? Stop me?
And that was a whole big fat waste of an issue then, because it's like he took it away, we put it in a rock, and I took it back.
But we set up something else.
Oh, well, the worms and whatnot.
And the worms are still there, and there's like some like ghostly otherworldly beings who look like Shang and other characters from other. Listen, I'm not super versed in Shang-Chi. I'm just gonna put it out there right now, so it's not at me right now. I'm looking forward to finding out who it is. So please don't just spoil it in the comments.
Please, yeah.
Like, don't just
be like, I know who it is. Here it is.
Well, good for you. I'm glad you do. But like, I would like to have
that surprise that satisfaction come from reading.
But Leiko, who was the agent who was with MI6, who like first came to Shang, who was like, oh, you have to help us, and it was all ruse, right?
Okay.
She's in her apartment, and like she's got little tiny worms in her eyes.
Oh no!
She just keeps saying that like she's like lonely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, uh-oh. We didn't quite, like a little piece of it got left behind.
Yeah.
The concern is that like
maybe it'll spread.
More of it will come.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a game of rings to find someone who's better suited to have the 10 rings.
Okay.
Like, nah, it shouldn't be Shang.
Weird.
He's bad at this.
Is he?
And the Jade Emperor should not have given it to him.
Okay.
Like, nah, that's not what should have happened. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Shang. You're not doing a good enough job.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to it. Again, like I love this last.
Yeah,
like,
it's great.
It's so like it's kind of like B horror, but like also the other elements of it. Like I don't know, it's just fun. I was like, nice, nice little kickoff for me
for the spooky season.
Nice. So
yeah,
fun. I just like this book a lot. Like I said, like this issue for some reason, the beginning of it was a little like meh. It felt like we were kind of racing
the new series, because you liked the old series.
Oh, I love that, but this specific issue.
Oh, this issue.
Just specifically the first part of this issue, like, just felt like we were racing to get to the other more fun part of the issue.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. And once we got there, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you had to transition us over there, but like, get you.
Yeah. I see why you were excited. Hogshead, proof of jumping into X-Men at any point. Extreme X-Men in early 2000s by Claremont, especially if only exposure was then the cartoon and first movie. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I mean, new X-Men, people like that one a lot.
Sometimes it's just jumping into something and like you might feel like totally out of your depth, but honestly, a lot of times the stories can carry you through, and it might be enough for you to be like, you know what, like I liked this, but maybe I didn't like this, or like maybe I really want to know more about this character, or like there was like a lot of times random teams will show up and be like, who are they?
Yeah. And then go find out.
Yeah.
Danville900 returns to correct us. The Batman Audio Adventure comic is a sequel to the HBO Max podcast. Yes, I'm familiar with that show. I never listened to it myself, but I did know that Jeffrey Wright plays Batman, which is pretty neat. Yeah, I think we talked about that, actually, you and I.
Yeah, because you played both. We've talked about this before. What is happening?
Yeah, Tudyk is Alfred. It's still Conroy's voice in my head. The art was like the great Batman Adventures comics. Yeah, Marquez is doing a terrific job. So terrific, I actually picked up a couple of prints that he was selling. They're in the other room.
Oh.
But because they need to be framed and put up.
Oh, fair. I was like, where?
But yeah, thank you very much for your support, man. Matthew Chalaga, thoughts on Patton Oswalt's new comic for Dark Horse. First issue's out, and it's kind of neat. Can't remember the name. Yeah, me either. But I do remember him doing that. Honestly, I have read a number of works by Patton Oswalt. I like him most when he is performing stand-up comedy about like 15 years ago. His current stand-up comedy is great, but not at the same level that it was, like 10, 15 years ago. His writing, I read his book and it's fine, and I have read his Firefly comic, which was, I believe it was Float Out about Wash, and it was dreadful. Is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, but that was like he was playing in someone else's world. So
yeah,
this is a little stronger
I
because
hope
he's not
so.
trying to like. If he's sometimes when you're a fan of something or too close to something, you're not the right person.
This was very much
like,
you could tell Float Out was like a D&D campaign, like a space D&D campaign that like he wanted to do. Like it was just, it had a lot of like characters that were just invented for the story that reeked of like, me and my friends did this adventure and this campaign and we, and here they all are. Like it was not great, and that's admittedly like an old decade book, but like not a fan of his writing, unfortunately. But I do like him, like, as a comedy person, as a comic. I read Thunderbolts #2 from Jim Zub, and Sean is, he tweeted how to pronounce his name, but I'm gonna say Izaski or Izaxi. I think it's Isaacs. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. Thunderbolts #2 from Jim Zub and Sean Isaacs. This is the continuation of the new Clint Barton-led, again, Thunderbolts series. The Thunderbolts come together. They face a threat that seems to be, a monster. It is, but he's diminutive in size. It's Egro, the Unbreakable, which, of course, you can see on the cover. Isaacs.
Yeah, you're right.
Booyah. Thank you. But yeah, it's a fun book. It has like a nice balance of more like 2/3 superheroing, and then the rest is like the world building of the story of like what the Thunderbolts is supposed to be, which is of course like the only sanctioned super team in New York, thanks to Mayor Luke Cage. This is supposed to feel like a Ted Lasso kind of comic book. That's the idea, is like Clint is Ted. He's out of his depth. He's in a new place. He's dealing with new people. They don't have any respect for him, and he's got to prove that, like, it's that kind of thing. They have a publicist.
I like Ted Lasso.
You do? Yes, I do too. And they're one of their point of contacts looks a lot like Tiffany, suspiciously so. So you should definitely check out Thunderbolts #2 if you want like a more slice of life kind of superhero comic.
And yet, to be honest, neither of those people knows who I am.
There's no way.
So it's not me.
Yeah, no, I did not mean to suggest that they know you.
Not at all.
But it would be cool if they did. I'm not going to get really too deep into this, but Tom King and Greg Smallwood return with The Human Target #7.
Nice.
This book is fantastic. It's phenomenal. I love it. No beats missed. I was remarking to Tiffany, there's a moment in here, and I'm not quite sure I even understand why I like it so much. But there's Greg Smallwood's art is just so good, and it's like it's so good. It takes things that I'm normally critical of and then makes me like them. And that was like there's a panel that focuses on shoes, characters wearing shoes, and there's like, I believe it's Fire is wearing these heels, and it's just an outline of a shoe, and it's like very simple. There's like no detail in it. It's just the shape of a shoe, and then what you can clearly see are like marker lines filling in the color.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just you could I know the width of the, what do you call it?
Chisel.
The chisel of the mark. Just, there you go,
The
and you
nib.
filled it in.
Yeah.
Chisel. That's what I was. That's
well,
what I
it's
was
a chisel
looking,
nib.
yeah, but that's what I was looking for. But for me, I'm like, that seems like the part of my brain where I'm like, where I notice like things that like cut corners and laziness. I was like, that seems lazy, but it's not, because it's part of the style. Like it's part of, and like what Craig Smallwood is capable of. And you look at the next panel and you see this like incredibly laid out human being conveying such emotion. It's just like, it's changing my entire perspective on like how
art.
On art.
It's almost like you're growing art appreciation.
I would hope,
through exposure to different styles.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. So, Human Target number 7. If you haven't already read it, you should be reading issues 1 through 6. The backup or filler issue that they came out, Tales of the Human Target. It's great, and Tom King wrote it, but also like Kevin McGuire drew some of it. Also, Mikhail Yanin and Greg Smallwood provides a little bit of art, but it's like totally worth reading. It feels like what people say 60s noir femme fatale detective movies are like,
what they really are,
which is like weird, misogynistic, and boring. Like, I like a lot. I like the idea of them more than I like their execution. This is that execution, but like really well done. So read Human Target. What else you got, Tiffany?
You want to talk about X-Men?
I would love to talk about X-Men.
Let's talk about X-Men. X-Men came out this week, written by Jerry Duggan with art by Joshua Cassara.
Yes.
This is another issue where, like, early on in this issue, I was like, man, Jerry Duggan got lazy. And then about halfway through this book, I was like, never mind. Like, literally, I was like, wow, were you just waiting for, like, Judgment Day to be over to do your own thing? Like, I was so, I don't know. I was
grumpy.
I was in a mood.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wait, maybe I should just roll it back. This is why I don't live tweet anything while I'm like reading.
No, you can't.
You just can't. I gotta wait till I finish it up. Like, because that was not what was happening at all.
No,
it's like, hey, we were promised this whole thing with the children of the vault. We're dealing with them, and then it's like over in like a flash, and then it's like, oh, but no, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Like the children of the vault do not actually take over the world.
Oh, okay.
Which I assumed wasn't, but I was like, wait, we're looking at an alternate timeline because we established those with Destiny. Remember, she had that whole map of like things that could happen based on whatever. I'm like, are we looking at one of those? Like, oh, this could have happened if this happens or what? But no, we're actually doing something else. I was like, oh, neat. Like clever and neat.
Yeah.
Please write more. That's it. That's my review. No, seriously, this was really good. Much better than I thought it was initially. In terms of like Forge built big gun, but then like that shoots like a tiny black hole. And if the children of the vault like opened the door,
we just hit them with it.
It'll shoot in there and it'll collapse the vault.
Great.
Neat, right? And the door opens and it misfires. And it doesn't kill anybody, but the children have enough time. Like they have all this time now because they're still in the vault as it comes in, that they like learned and grew, and they come out and they like attack Krakoa and they like kill everybody, and then they kill the Avengers. And like part of the like way where it was just like, and it's real bad is like one of them killing Ghost Rider, and I'm like, no, that's not
okay.
That's not.
You're like, okay, we're seeing a dream or a simulation.
I really
or something.
I was like, that's so weird. I guess Jerry Duggan's just like, yeah, Ghost Rider, he's super strong. I mean, he could be depending on who you're fighting, but like as the like evidence of
you mean like they killed Ghost Rider?
Shit is hitting the fan.
That is not the ripping Thor in half, like killing.
Well, we've seen that.
I guess that's true.
Like this dude, Fuego, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Is that what his name is?
I don't know.
Yeah. Like crushes his like mandible. I'm like, okay, cool. They fight the Fantastic Four, like, you know what I mean? And then like the hardest out of like all of humanity has to offer to kill are the magic users. I was like, that's right. that is correct.
Yeah.
Clea goes down, but I'm like, oh, she's not like Sorcerer's Supreme. That's so weird. And I was like, I'm not paying attention. Like, this is me reading this book until like I'm like, maybe I should just relax and have faith. Where has the faith gone? And the last person is Doom. And it's dope.
Yay!
It is so dope. We're like, Doom's like, this isn't over. Like,
oh yeah, is that the line? Is that
the when you get to hell, I'll be waiting. And then you just see him engulfed and flamed, and like there's like a narrator that's like, I gotta give it to Doom. Like, he does not scream. He does not give them that satisfaction.
No.
I was like, yeah,
that's awesome.
That's dope. They go to Asgard, they kill everybody, they take over everything, and then it's like we go to the past where Forge and Xavier are like, hey, we gotta deal with the Vault. Let's figure out what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the same page you started the issue with, and I'm like, what is happening? And it's Forge and Cyclops going through the jungle. That's what he was doing. Forge was like, hey, you want to know what I was doing so badly for the council, so much that you put me on the X-Men, Cyclops? This is what we're doing. Big guns. So this time he's like, this is what we're doing. Big bubble.
Okay.
And that whole story we saw, it's not that it didn't happen. It is happening right now because they're in like a matrix solution inside of this thing. The children of the Vault did in fact get out. And when they did, they were put into these pods, and they
think they're winning.
They think this whole thing's going on.
Okay.
Like, oh,
that's awesome.
And the whole, like, it's like they don't know what to do because like Forge could try to shut the Vault down, but it doesn't really matter because the children of the Atom are already, or children of the Vault are already so far advanced. Yeah. It's not going to really help. So what can we do? We'll just put them here. And I'm like, cool. So that is just a dangling shoe.
Yep. Just waiting to happen. Just waiting to pay off.
Waiting to hit a smack in the head. But the other reason they're there is that Forge is going to go in and try to get Darwin back. Remember Darwin?
Yeah.
Darwin got left in the vault.
Yeah, we didn't really we didn't go over that.
We did not. Like, he just went, like, he got stuck in there. Like, Sync made it out. Wolverine died.
Yeah.
And Darwin just in there. So Forge is like, we don't leave our own in there.
Well, I assume that Darwin and Wolverine are not dead. I assume the Wolverine made it too.
You think so?
Yeah. I think there is a version of Wolverine that's in there.
Interesting.
With Darwin.
That would be real sad.
Yes.
For Sync.
Yeah.
And also it would be a real issue because they already brought her back. But I thought they had evidence that she had died.
I think they did too, but
that would be a problem because
they don't care about anything.
No, they do care about that.
No, that's true.
They care very much about that.
No, I mean like the editors.
Oh, well, maybe. I mean, what it might be is that she might be alive and then die by the time that they get back out because Forge is going to be there for a couple centuries.
Yeah, that's true.
He's got a suit, a Krakoan suit that's going to help keep him alive, and a couple little extra things.
Okay.
That's going to really help him when he's in there in order to find Darwin, including Caliban, the Morlock.
Yeah.
Whose power is to locate other mutants is like part of his suit. He's like, he like wakes up. He's like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, Forge, that's messed up.
Yeah, you didn't even ask. That's crazy.
What's up? He's like, you're coming with me. We're going in here. And it's like, you're going to be in there for so long. Like, it'll feel like a blink of the eye outside, but like, you're good.
Yeah.
It's going to suck.
Yeah.
But we do see Darwin for a second, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I'm looking forward to it. Like, seriously, this issue started off for me. Like, I was like, what are we doing? And then by the end, I was like, you've got me.
Yeah.
But I guess it's just the power of Jerry Duggan.
That's right.
Because like, I again, maybe I was grumpy. I don't know.
He's a good architect that they could choose.
It's just a solid, fun issue, but like, don't let the opening to this like put you off to be like, oh, they're doing another thing where like everything's coming to an end. It's like, no, it's fine. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the visuals, and just know that like a slew of 5 people think this is actually happening.
Right.
But again, that shoe will drop.
Yes.
Unless somehow cleverly figured out. And that's maybe what I liked about this was the cleverness of it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, that was like, it's funny because like obviously I really like what Kieran Gillen's doing with Judgment Day.
Yeah.
I feel like that is very clever. They're different writers though, and they tell stories very differently. And I was just thinking about that Briar book I talked about earlier and how it's like has flowery language, right? Like you would imagine a fairy tale or like Old English, whatever, like fake Old English. Yeah. But it also has like very blunt.
Right. More direct.
And it has like cursing in it and like modern like
vernacular.
Yeah, like melded. So it's very different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Little less like on the clever side and more just like but like this I felt like I was like how they dealing with the Children of the Vault. Clever.
Cool.
Dealing with it but not really.
Right. Yeah.
Which is kind of Xavier's MO.
Kelly Frederick, you guys excited for Werewolf by Night?
Yes. Ow.
Yeah, like, Tiffany hasn't seen the new trailer.
I haven't.
So
I don't want to see it. I really
like...
don't want to see the new trailer. I saw the one trailer. I am hyped and then I'm good. Because since we don't really do like trailer reviews of things, I don't need to worry about being on like the cusp of everything that's going on. I'd rather just watch the movie and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And just go into it knowing like, ooh, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I'm excited for the I mean like it's funny because we've been in like 2 years of Marvel shows and occasional movies, and those movies have been
Fine.
Like, they've tried to like sell you on like the fact that the biggest thing ever, No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, that kind of thing, and they have their hype associated with them, but they're also like, No Way Home. I'm not going to argue. No Way Home's a different animal.
Yeah,
it's a Spider-Man thing. It's a totally separate thing. Even though it's integrated in the universe, but like to have these movies like Black Panther 2 and
which I am honestly very excited.
Oh yeah, the new trailer dropped today, and
I'm not gonna watch that either.
Well, it's cool. I
have no doubt it is.
Yeah.
But like it's
a lot of reveals,
it's coming out soon.
Implications.
Like, I'm good. I'm just gonna.
Oh, I know. There was a trailer leak for Ant-Man 3, and it was like February. It's coming, and I'm like, what? Okay. That's awesome! Hooray! Okay. And the implications there. There's a beloved actor that gets to show up in that movie.
Okay.
He's never been in the MCU before, and I'm really excited about it.
Okay, I'm excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm very hyped for Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna get like, it's gonna be magic. It's gonna be like horror.
That's exactly like it looks a little on like the
on the nose when it comes to like them trying to do the
like a little not grindhousey, but like the like Marvel MCU version of that,
right?
For sure. So yeah, like I'm very excited to see what it has to hold, but like I'm trying not to get too hyped about it because like I'm afraid that like it won't live up to like what I'm expecting.
Yeah, which it's a special. It's probably not even going to be movie length.
That's why like I don't want to look at the other trailer. I'm like, you know what? I saw the trailer. It got me. I'm interested. I'm good. You don't have to show me anymore.
I did see the other trailer,
but like for me, like don't put all the best moments.
No,
in because
I saw that new trailer and I can tell you, I don't know what the hell this movie's about.
You know what?
So I'm just telling you, like I can't parse the damn thing.
Right.
So I'm just like, that's good.
Sometimes
listen, you're a very clever person. So
I'm not a clever person, but we all have those moments where we piece things together. Like, like we watched Knives Out. I knew who done it. I was like, oh, that's person.
Oh, it's me.
I kept that to myself though, because I try to be a responsible.
You figured out Kaiser Soze within the first 2 minutes. Harishi Venkatesh reading the Mad Fraction Superman's Jimmy Pal. Reading the Mad Fraction Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen from 2 years ago. Absolutely fabulous, but probably impossible to cover his back issues. The book couldn't sell, so I can't sell it as a show. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's a really fun read. The Panda Supreme got here live from once, so thank you very much for being here, Panda Supreme. Welcome back. Rami Darwish with the support. Thank you very much.
Someone brought up the fact that they hate that every time they see the children of the vault that they're different looking because so much time. But like that must be an artist's dream. Like to be on an issue with Children of the Vault, you're like, I get to redesign these characters.
Yeah.
Like I'm encouraged to do so.
Right.
I have to do it.
Yep.
That's
kind of neat.
Yeah. Like you have a real reason to do that. Every time they show up, you're like, I gotta do something different.
Yeah. Girk Pectus, I just found out my beloved or my favorite CB shop just shut down. It was so beloved that Method Man and Redman did free concerts for them to help them financially. Sucks.
That's awesome.
That does suck, man. I'm sorry. And that really blows that they had like the support of like such influential creators like that.
Yeah.
That
makes me think I think Amalgam Comics in Philly is closing soon. Like their last days have either already happened or
have happened.
But like a really interestingly like a popular shop, a like really cool format where it was not just a comic book shop, but like they had a lot of events there. Like,
have we been there?
No, I've never been. And it was also a coffee shop. And I always thought that was like genius.
A great idea.
Like, it was like not just a coffee or a comic book store. It was like a place for their community. Yeah. And I thought that was absolutely incredible. But we don't usually go to Philly. Like that's just what it is.
No, it's
like,
such a pain in the ass.
We're never in that area. Like it's like close, but not close to us at all.
Right.
So,
but if they want to do a thing, let us know. Maybe we'll take the drive.
No, I think they're
or if it's over.
Yeah. They were doing a countdown. I can't remember if it's like their last day has happened or it is coming up soon. But they have plans for the future.
Good.
And, like I wish them much luck.
Yeah. Rami Darwish, as of 2022, what's the best digital service for comics running out of physical space? And soon my wife is going to kill me over boxes of comics. There's a number of ways to do it. I really don't care for Comixology anymore, but I will suggest that like if you're looking for, if you don't mind the time, there's DC Universe Infinite, which I would recommend. Marvel Unlimited is another one that's not bad. You could also use Hoopla for your local library. With your local library affiliation, you can download, I think, digital books and comics that way. Those are the recommendations I have. Or you can use Comixology/Amazon and try to like read them without using guided view or or whatever, but they've, Amazon has almost rendered them impossible to read and enjoy.
Only if you're reading it on your computer.
But if you read it on your phone,
you're fine, or your tablet, you're fine.
Yeah.
Which is how I read them. So,
and you do enjoy them.
I do love it on there.
And so that's fine.
I don't like the buying process now, but I do like reading them on my phone. I love having a comic book library. As long as I download them and I'm on Wi-Fi, like when I download them, I have comics anywhere I go, anytime. Like, so if I know that like we're going on like a long drive or a trip someplace, like I can have comics ready to go, and it's not just individual issues, it's trade. So it's like, I wish there is a competitor for that, but I understand there probably isn't the market space for a competitor for that type
there isn't
service right now.
But but it is a way to like fill in your collection, because like, there's gaps. Pop Culture Guy 3000. It's definitely the MCU version of The Beast Must Die, a classic werewolf whodunit by Amicus Pictures. Okay.
Nice.
And what else we got, Tiffy?
Well, I think this week, out of the two of us, I read the Better Judgment Day tie-in. Now, again, you said a lot of people like the Spider-Man one.
They seem to.
And that's great. That's awesome. But I read AXE Avengers #1, which I'm sure for some people are like, I'm not going to read this because the word Avengers is on it. But what you needed to pay attention to was the fact that underneath it said Kieran Gillen.
Right.
Because this is not just this is an Avengers book. This is not like an item within the like Avengers run. I don't believe this is an AXE.
No, this is its own book.
A direct AXE tie-in.
There's a #1.
Yeah, there's a #1 written by Kieran Gillen with art by Federico Vincentini.
Yes.
So the art looks great. It's super stylized. I really liked it. Everybody like looks the way you think they should, but also slightly different. I don't know. I liked this art. It's very like kinetic.
Yeah.
Just looks good. It's essentially this. It's the team that's going into the progenitor to like take them down.
Yeah.
Finally, right?
That's right.
Like, oh no, like, things are, the end is nigh, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be all about Iron Man. Initially, it doesn't seem like it is. Like, it almost feels like it's just a guise to tell more story. And then it's like, no, hang on, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right, of course.
And Kieran Gillen used to write Iron Man, so it's like fun to see him like return to the character and give us like his his revisiting of
and
that
like
character.
Let's be honest, you are going to get the fact that like it's not like a Jed McKay remembers moment. It is more like a Kieran Gillen knows all these things about Iron Man, but like is also taking an opportunity to be like, what if Iron Man had created a god? How would he feel about that?
That's
so
fair.
It's like a very different Gillen on this, I think. Like, it's Gillen going like, I know Iron Man's history, and I'm going to put some of that in there, but also let's talk about what's going on right now and where Tony is in his headspace. And like, that's the kind of like love and care that Gillen brings to the table when he writes books for me, at least right now in this space, because I can't say I've read any like super early Gillen X-Men run.
No, it's true.
But because Gillen has written the X-Men before. But I haven't read that when I should. And I know people have told me that. I just have like, if you could see the stack of things I should be reading or should be going back to read.
That's true.
But yeah, so this was just an excellent issue. I'm not, I think we've mentioned this before, both of us. Like, I'm not a big Iron Man fan.
Yeah.
Like, I like Iron Man. Obviously, many of us like
the
MCU
movie
Iron Man. Like, there's something, very like charming about him.
Yes.
But like, I'm never just like, ooh,
an Iron Man book.
Yeah, I just don't have that connection. I mean, if you think about it, as much as occasionally he'll like go back in time.
Yeah.
He's very science oriented. And as much as I'm like, hey, that's cool, I'm way more about like fantasy magic, so like I never quite think to myself, like if I had a choice between like, listen, you have to read an Iron Man book or a Thor book, I'm going to pick up the Thor book and read that.
Ironically, we did not read Thor this week.
No, but you know what I mean? Like if I had that, like, out of two characters I don't typically read, they're like, I'm going to go for the one that's magical, even though really I should challenge myself to go for the other one.
I always try Iron Man, like every time there's a new writer, and I'm always like, nah.
You might like this. Like,
I probably would because it's Kieran Gillen, but and it's only one issue.
It's Gillen getting judged, and like the progenitor
Iron
definitely.
Man getting judged.
Oh, sorry. What did I say?
You said Gillen?
It's Gillen getting judged, man. He's
like, oh no,
judged. It's just
I'm judged. Oh no,
thumbs up, man.
Help.
Two thumbs way up.
Yeah.
But no, it's Iron Man getting judged this week, and he gets put through the ringer. It's honestly, it's amazing. It's just all of his like failures and like there are some spectacular moments in here. We go back to the cave, to the box of scraps.
Yay.
To the Iron Man suit, which comes to life.
Oh no!
And like, talks to him.
Like, get inside of me.
No. Yinsen is there. He's dead. And like, it's all like, initially it's all about the suits where he's just like, was it all worth it? Like, he kept you alive. I kept you alive. Was it worth it? Like, like
right.
all you did was build all these suits, and like now you've got one final suit,
right?
A giant god armor, and guess where you are? You're in it. I was like,
oh no.
I was like, Gillen, yes, you helped to build this
armor.
This armor, basically. And now you're not only is your nervous system like
right, but you're wearing it.
You're literally inside of it right now. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Excellent. So it just, we talk about Cap a little bit.
Civil War,
Civil War is there. Rhodey is there.
Mm-hmm.
Thor is there. Hulk shows up. All like a whole bunch of ladies from his life show up.
That's cool.
And then we go back to the car crash. And he's
great.
there. And he's like, I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
And like the progener's like, and yet here we are.
Oh, who does he see? Is it the suit?
No, it's like he sees.
Oh, the progenitor's just like, hi.
The progenitor's just jumping from thing to thing to thing. And his final thing is his father.
Mm-hmm.
And so his father is what will pass judgment upon him. Right?
Yeah.
And like he's crying. He's just a mess, right?
Yeah.
And like they have this really like sweet heart to heart. And then like his father tells him that like he's like, I was a really shitty father.
Right.
And like you moved on and a lot of us wouldn't. Like I'm like proud of you.
Oh.
Like you're too hard on yourself. And then he wakes up and he's like, Dad. And everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah. What did you see,
like,
man?
Literally everyone's there with him. And like he's being attacked by something within the suit. So they're trying to get him off it. And he wakes up and he's like, ah! And they're like, you okay?
Right.
Because we got to keep doing this.
Right.
Like we can't stop. But what Tony takes from this is that like he's like, if I'm still being judged, then like we all still are being judged and we still have a chance to fix this. And so we do. And so like I was like, that's really clever. And to me, this speaks even more to the fact that it's like the progenitor it's almost like you're judging yourself.
Right.
Like he's using like your subconscious. Like all Tony wants is to hear his dad say that he's proud of him.
Right.
And he's like, maybe there's some like part of him who knows he would be, but he doesn't believe it until like he hears someone else say it. And so it's like the progenitor brings that forth. Like that's what it feels like has happened here. It's like, it's not really his dad telling him this. It's the
progenitor. Yeah, it's himself.
It's himself telling him this. And I was like, that's cool, right?
Yeah.
But like it's just it's like got some biting humor in it. Tony is snarky and he's trying to wear that until like eventually it all wears off. Like Jean gives him a hard time early on. He's like, I got to warn you, I've got a thing about redheads who treat me badly. So watch what you're putting out there. And he like says it later on. And Hellcat is essentially like, no, you've got a thing for like parental figures. And it's really creepy.
Right.
Because it's not really her. It's, it's something that's I think it's whatever's within you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate therapist.
Okay.
It's just that's what the progenitor is, except he's a little rough about how he's going to deal with all of us. There is a spectacular moment for me early on with Sinister, because Sinister's like part of this team, because Sinister's obviously snuck into Celestials before, and so like he is there to help guide them. He's also part of the team that brought him to life, right? So like there he is. But like they get attacked by these like crazy monsters, which is actually like an immuno response.
Oh,
I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So Sinister's like, don't worry, I've got this, and he has like these pheromones that like or whatever that will help to like shield them. It doesn't work at all. And so like I love this because Sinister's just like, okay, plan B, stab them, Locum, stab them with your claws. And I'm like, it's like like that's just Gillen's voice for these characters. I really enjoyed this issue.
Yeah.
Does it really add anything?
No.
Is it a great solid read that like, okay, does it add something? Yes, it adds substance. Is it necessary for you to understand what's happening in the main book? No. That's what I think is so expertly done about Gillen's tie-ins, where it's like you could read this to literally just bolster what's going on, but it's not like if you don't read this, you're not going to be like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be like that. So
okay.
I liked it a lot. For me, it was one of those like, do I like Iron Man or do I just like Gillen writing Iron Man?
We should go back and read Gillen's Iron Man.
That's what I'm thinking now.
Yeah.
Like, that is what this book did for me. Like, and so maybe that's also the hallmark of a solid tie-in that makes me more interested in the character.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
It's just really good. And also, again, really fun art.
Right.
Really fun, like I said, kinetic, energetic art.
Nice.
With some solid colors.
I read. Oh, let me go back and see if there's any.
Yes, let's do that.
Any super chats, because I don't want to miss out. I think there are a few. Here we go. Gurk Pectus says, "I got a special job, so I finished early. Finally, can catch you guys live in a while. AI art's getting advanced. Do you plan on using it in your shows to save money or time? We have used them before, but only for fun and not for any kind of like." Personal projects.
Part of the reason that I looked into it and used one of the generators at all was like trying to garner an understanding of like how that landscape is going to change, because like right now it really feels like the creative arts are being attacked from all ways, shapes, and sizes, like sides of like, hey, I know you spent like a lot of like time, effort, like and like money to like develop your skills over the years, but hey, I'm gonna just use this thing instead,
right?
To make, and like I love the like, and I'm like of two minds of it, because I love the idea of everyone having that spark of creativity in them, and like now having a way to express it. What I don't like is the other side of it, where it's just a way for larger companies to save money instead of employing someone.
Well, I can't imagine you can, right? Like I wonder if like what the legal ramifications are, because it's not. Is it really?
So that's like, the other thing, and like I don't know if they've really like
explored
that, because it's like, who owns that art then? Because really, doesn't the person who's running the AI generator own the art?
Right.
If
it's using other things, like
if eventually the AI becomes more intelligent, does the AI own the art as the creator of it? And like, are you the commissioner of it?
Right.
Then do you own the art? Like, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to unpack there. But like for right now, it's interesting to watch people like solve things, because it's like you can't just like typically with an AI generator just shove a prompt in there and get something that's completely usable. You have to do all these things to make it work, and then a lot of times use a secondary program to clean up things.
Yes,
like that's what I've seen of it. So it's like, it's one of those things where I'm like interested in it, a lot of it, because I want to know what's going to happen, because you have some control over it, and like people have really like tried to like target things, but like I think it's really cool for like concepts.
Yeah.
To build off of.
That's what I was going to say. Good point.
But there's an entire industry and people who do concept art.
Yes.
Too. And so like, I don't know how this is going to affect the creative industry, but it's something that like maybe we should have a deeper conversation about, because like I have a lot of thoughts about this. I'm not like, it's not something that's going to threaten my livelihood right now at all. In terms of what I do, but like it's just one of those things that I'm fascinated by.
Totally,
because it's like I feel like we're at a precipice of something possibly bigger.
He also asks, worst part of my favorite comic book place shutting down is that people consider it a bad area and avoided it. I honestly never felt unsafe in that, and they're very nice people.
Where is this? What is this comic book store?
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know. I was just thinking about the Philly place. So I'm like, I don't know. Pop Culture Guy 3000, is it weird that Werewolf Whodunit is its own subgenre now? There have been like 5 different horror mystery movies with that premise now. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and it's not just that. I mean, they're games too.
Yeah, of course. Werewolf. Yeah. Weird.
Listen, I don't know. If something works, go for it.
That's true. So Amazing Spider-Man number 10 came out. It is a Judgment Day tie-in. It is written by Zeb Wells. This time with art by Nick Dragotta. So John Romita Jr. just provides the cover. Honestly, people are really critical of John Romita Jr. We talk about it every time, but like I think this is actually a pretty good cover. Like I like the color palette. I like the background choice of like nothing. And I really think that Romita managed to the idea of the progenitor's face being like judgmental. It's hard to capture judgment on a face, and I think that they do that with Gwen here.
There's something about this cover I don't like.
Well, Peter's face isn't great.
There's like a couple of like.
I think it's the colors.
I think the colors are not helping anything. There's like something anatomical about Peter's back that's like.
No, there's something weird. And
there's something going on with that anatomy that really just keeps throwing me. They're also like strangely sized, in my opinion.
They are strangely sized. She's too big. Yeah.
No, it's not just her. I mean, like literally for the cover itself, there's something about the placement of these characters where it's like, I don't know. There's something about this cover. I haven't had enough time to think about it. But there's something there. I'm just not.
There's a lot that doesn't work about this cover. I don't mind. I enjoy the Gwen expression. I idea behind this, but like Peter's mask being attached to the suit is a thing I've always hated, and I don't like seeing it. And it's weird that they do it.
It's kind
the
of
back
hard.
is a problem. The fact that Gwen has a bag, there's no need. Her foot placement doesn't work because she looks like she's floating. Her head looks too big for her shoulders. The Amazing Spider-Man logo is too small. You
said you kind of liked it.
I do like it, but we're gonna get into it. Like
I wasn't trying to.
The Amazing Spider-Man logo is playing second fiddle to the Judgment Day ornate bullshit of its own logo, but like. Yeah,
there's something going on here. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think it's that Romita probably provided like a very loose outline of what this looked like, and I think that there's like a lot of heavy lifting being done by the colorist, and I don't think it's working. Like I like the background a lot. Like I like the use of color in the background, but like the colorist, it's too soft. The colors are not doing this any favors. But yeah, as far as not doing it any favors, Nick Dragotta is doing the fill-in pencils, and that did not help this book one bit. Nick Dragotta's art is very much like stylized. It's the definition of a style, and it is applicable in very specific circumstances, and I think sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. And I think when you need to convey human beings, it don't, and when you convey like buildings and humans, or and superheroes with masks on and architecture and like settings, and then it kind of works, because it's like he's got a dynamism that is really good.
Oh, that's interesting. I was just like, I was like,
yes,
why
you knew
do
them
I know that name. I know
East of West,
and also more recently, I picked up a couple of issues of Ghost Cage.
Yes,
I haven't read it.
No, but you saw it because of the art.
3 of them, and I was like, wow, this art. I love this art.
Yeah, it works for stuff like that.
100% really worked for me.
Yeah, and it doesn't work 100% for this issue. It's unfortunate because like we know Dragotta to be really talented and to be. And I think that's just, it speaks so much to like editorial, right? Because like my issue is entirely with editorial and oversight. This book, every week we talk about this book, and every week we talk about how bad it is. And I don't mean to rag on it. I don't want to make this the like let's bag on Spider-Man hour,
But it couldn't. How could it possibly be an entire hour when the rest of it is me talking about how I love Kieran?
How much Kieran Gillen's great? Yeah,
I'm like, I feel like I'm president of the Kieran Gillen fan club.
Right? No, it's true. But like, it's fascinating because it's supposed to be like the premier book from Marvel, and it's always lacking. And it's kind of like amazing because just by accident, the books should be tremendous once in a while, and instead it's middling to bad. Like it's either like or it's not great.
Right.
This is a tie-in.
This is a tie-in. So this one kind of had, and this is a tie-in written by the creator of the book, as opposed to Kieran Gillen showing up and being like, "Hey, you mind if I just?"
Yeah, you mind if I just fill that in for you? Because I'll just add more to my own story. This was very much Zeb Wells being like, "Oh, I'm doing the tie-in. Yeah, I'll do the tie-in. I'll take the check for the tie-in. Yeah, I think I got it right. I didn't read the book or get any kind of guidance from editorial or anything from Kieran. I'm just gonna do whatever Judgment. Got it.
Yeah, there is a moment. I did not read this one, guys, because Sal talked about it ahead of time, and I was like, and I should have, and I apologize for not having read it. I do not apologize for that. But there was a moment that you described to me, and I was like, how does that?
It doesn't.
And we'll get there. We'll get there. But I was like, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, no.
And I'm reading Judgment Day.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not great. And there's a number of reasons why it's not great. But yeah, it plays with the idea of like Judgment Day, and obviously Peter is one of the judged people. He calls Iron Man on the phone, so Iron Man's able to take calls, and he does.
Well, listen, if you're Tony Stark, you have an incredible cell phone plan that
right,
you
but
have crafted yourself.
Isn't he busy?
I mean, it depends on when his judgment is occurring, because like, admittedly, Iron Man has been in this area the entire time. I think he should be busy.
But obviously everyone's getting judged. Everybody who is judged is
judged,
and everybody who is being judged is by somebody who's whose approval. Who it would matter if they were judged by that
it's
person.
Someone that they may not realize that like their approval, like, yes, that they feel like they could be judged by.
Right. And so if we're looking at a Spider-Man book, what a great opportunity. What an interesting opportunity we have here to play with the Spider world. Like, wouldn't it be great to see like J. Jonah Jameson being and who would it be? His wife, Robbie, maybe Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know, we don't see that. We do see Jonah try and make up for it by like calling everyone and apologizing to them. Now, this could also be a great opportunity for us to like change some things up with the Spider-Man world. Like Jonah and Robbie haven't really worked together in a long time. Robbie is out of the book. I mean, he was part of Randy's story recently, but like the Bugle has not been a factor for a long time. And it would be very interesting to see like the Bugle return because of like Jonah and Robbie reconciling over God saying that you're judged. That'd be really neat. Instead, the plot here is, you know, Peter is being judged. Gwen is the progenitor's chosen form. And as a result, having a judgmental like love interest or past, you know, character look at them every time Peter breaks a promise or is about to let someone down, forces him to not do that. So like, you know, Randy's getting married and he says, hey, how come you said you come with me to my tux fitting, a thing that has not occurred and we didn't get to see that, so we don't care.
If he's still getting married, they're getting judged.
That's what Peter says. And he's like, yeah, that's no time like the present, right? So I got to put on my tux.
Which, I mean, I guess none of this could be happening since that is a thing that happens.
Yeah.
That is a thing that happens with these guys. This could all be not real.
Exactly. But you know, he's like, I don't have time for that right now. And then he's like, you know what? No, okay. Gwen's looking at me sad, so I guess I will. So he goes and like it's one page. And then he goes to Aunt May and he's like, I should check on Aunt May. So he does. And we find out like a lot of people were critical because it was like, well, why is Gwen there? Why not Uncle Ben? Because like Peter does everything for Uncle Ben. He's sad that he let Gwen die, but like she's not the reason he's Spider-Man. Well, because Ben is with Aunt May, judging her. And they're hugging like the progenitor isn't. He would never do that because he's not Uncle Ben. He's not Uncle Ben. But you know, whatever. So
well, I mean, Peter's father, or not Peter, Tony's father does.
Oh, okay, there.
But it's like all in.
But it's all in his head.
It's all in Tony's.
You're thinking it's not even like the progenitor. It's Tony.
Yeah.
But you know, he goes to Jonah, and Jonah's just apologizing for everything. He talks to he wishes that that Ben Reilly was there. He goes to Miles. That's one of the most egregious ones, is that like we have this perfect moment in the Judgment Day book where we see Miles get judged, and he, you know, and it's such a cute moment. It tells more of a story than this, where like Peter goes to Miles and he's like, hey man, you know, I'm really proud of you. And he's like, thanks.
It's like almost the same thing that happens, except
a little longer.
It's the progenitor
going, nice job.
He gives me one back.
He gives me one back because he doesn't understand. So Peter goes to work. He meets up with Norman Osborn, because of course Norman Osborn's there, and like, and the progenitor is like really upset that he's working for Norman Osborn, and then leaves. Like Gwen's mad at him and then leaves. And Kamala Khan works for Norman Osborn, which I like must have missed. I don't know, but in any case, I know it's rough. This book is really rough to look at.
It's like not.
It's not even like a style. It's just not good. But anyway, so like he leaves. He chases after Gwen, and then like Kamala turns to the progenitor, who is in the form of Captain Marvel, and goes like, "What a weirdo!" And I'm like, everyone is being judged. Everyone has a person coming before them.
They were having a fight when we saw them. Like Kamala like grabbed Captain Marvel and was like, you're not her.
Right.
Like that was the way that their judgment was.
And I guess that then then you know, they got over it and they went to work.
Oh, this is before they fought. I don't know.
Right. But Peter talks to Gwen or the progenitor, and basically is like, I'm working for Norman Osborn because you know, vague bullshit about what happened 6 months ago. But the implication is that like we're going to one more day Mary Jane again. Like, so I lost someone I loved a while back, and I wanted to do everything I could to get her back, and not everyone agreed with my tactics. And I'm like, oh my god, like what are you doing again? Like, is it Aunt May? Is it Mary Jane? It's obviously Mary Jane, but like Norman tried to help and he couldn't. Blah blah blah. So you know, but he's not the Green Goblin, and it's my job to make sure that he's like, you know, he stays not Green Goblin-y. Then Gwen is like, hey, good job, thumbs up. I'm going to turn into Gwen Stacy for real and say hi for literally 2 seconds. So she does, and she's like, hey, nice to see you, and then leaves.
What? Yeah, that was the thing.
That's it.
Like, that was the thing you told me.
Because like because unlike in every other book, and unlike in Judgment Day, the progenitor gives you a gift.
So, like, Gillen does the thing with where Tony's dad says the thing that Tony needs to hear or wants to hear.
Right.
But, like, he doesn't say, now receive my gift. Like, it's just clearly Tony going, like, I need this.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And if that had just happened and it wasn't, like, now receive my gift, you could be like, that's the same thing where it's just, these are all the things that Peter thinks of himself. Like, Peter's mad at himself that he works for Norman.
Right.
Right. But to say that indicates that none of that is what happened.
No. The issue is this, because like, and Norman Osborn sees her and he's like, oh my God, Gwen, and it's like, what? Also, like, I guess the progenitor is appearing before him too, as Gwen Stacy.
They only have one eye.
I know. But the issue is this. My issue with this book, with this particular issue, besides the fact that like it doesn't look very good and it is in every sense a tie-in issue, is that like it deliberately gets fundamental details wrong, but it gives the reader the illusion of substance and meaning so that the reader will give it a pass. Because the reader sees themselves as Peter Parker a lot of the times. And so if Peter Parker gets the thumbs up and is rewarded for his trauma, then I'll feel good because at least Peter got what he wanted. Even if it's not earned and it's not terribly emotionally satisfying when you've been reading this book or even really what he needs. It is empty calories.
Yeah,
is what it is. It makes you think that it's like substantive and it's delivering on something when it's like Peter reconciling with Gwen. We haven't seen it, but like, do we really need it at this point? And like, haven't we done enough of Gwen to do that? And like, wouldn't it be more impactful if it was Uncle Ben?
So wait, he says that like he tried to bring someone back, and that's the reason why he and Mary Jane are on the outs.
He doesn't say anything about Mary Jane. He speaks only in riddles and vagaries in a way that no one would, so that we can preserve the mystery.
Right.
That is artificially here.
Right. I wonder if it was Gwen he tried to bring back, and that's why it's her. And so like he's trying to like lay that like seed.
Right. Because, like the whole reason it's Gwen in this case
is because like of a recent event that we don't know about yet. And so maybe that's what it is. But like we were talking about this. And like, I said like there was no reason the progenitor has no rule that we have seen yet that's like I may only appear as this one person.
Yeah, you can be any. They could change.
Like once I'm that person, I can't be someone else. So I better pick something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like I as much as it would have been cliche to have it be Uncle Ben, like my pitch was that it be Uncle Ben,
right,
for he and May.
Yes.
And
I like that ending
because of the fact that like seemingly it is about like how you feel, and so like maybe like unfortunately like I don't know if Peter deep down really believes that like he's doing enough to like fix things, because like much like Daredevil, like there's like this element of guilt, right?
Yeah.
And like I would have loved to have like Peter like go to May at the end and like have May like have them like have a real conversation about this and being like, like who did you see? Like, and like it's both Ben.
Yeah.
And she's like, wasn't it nice to see him, like knowing she got the thumbs up, and like as they're like hugging in the background, Uncle Ben is there and it's just
a thumbs down.
Thumbs down for Peter.
So Peter like lies to Aunt May about like how it was like, yeah, it was really nice, not debilitatingly sad to see like my father figure disapprove of me.
Right. Like,
because it really is like it's whether you think you're doing a good job. It's whether you believe you're worthy or not.
Yeah, and I think that's why, like, for example, Doom gets through.
Doom gets a thumbs up because like Doom is Doom. And doesn't like pretend.
Right, but like Emma Frost and Sebastian Shaw don't, because like they know deep down they're like,
because they believe they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
No, it's just what you would know if you read the book. Like it's you know what I mean, or were told what the meaning is before you wrote it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it doesn't happen here. And it's just weird. Kettler will defend retreats. Kind of funny. Amazing Spider-Man was an X-Men tie-in back to back. What even is the timeline on it? I know I'm nitpicking, but I can't help but feel like these issues are rushed. They felt rushed. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like the X-Men stuff, like the X-Men books themselves got a little messed up in terms of their timelines just in general, and so they were having a hard time coming out, and I don't know if they were like trying to get out of the way of this, but the tie-ins to that after the Hellfire Gala 2 for Spider-Man did seem like they were a little further away than they should have been in terms of coming out, and I don't know if that's like just because the X books got messed up.
I think that's probably what it was.
Maybe they tried to fill some stuff in to like, you know what I mean, like maybe like they had to switch the timeline around, and so that came later than it should have. But yeah, for this to be another tie-in, I think it's a little rough for Spider-Man fans as well.
Yeah,
where it's like, hey, will we actually be telling the Spider-Man story at some point?
Right. Well, and like it's a Spider-Man book. Like there are some books that are immune to tie-ins. Like there's some books you don't need to use. But now it could be that also like either tie-ins go both ways. You can either have a tie-in on your book because you're worried that your book isn't selling and the tie-in might inflate it, or you're using the strength of your book to inflate the book, like the other book, by giving it a tie-in. It's like Spider-Man is helping Judgment Day by having a tie-in at all.
Right.
But it doesn't when it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't jive with the continuity of that
I mean,
series.
it could have just been that they were like, yeah, I'll do it. Like,
oh yeah,
whatever. Like
I get it. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Girk Pectus, I do 3D art as a side job. AI has made it a lot easier, but I still need it. I need to fix it in Blender.
Yeah.
There's a free site where you can make a T-Rex in 3 minutes. Nice.
That's awesome.
Joe Fiant says, loved ASM 10, but the art was different. It was different.
And I gotta tell you, seeing that art, like I haven't seen Dragota's art recently, except for again that Ghost Cage book.
Right, which
I don't know when that came out, but like that did not seem to be what the expectations I have for his art.
No, it could be rushed. It could be like
I don't know, and like maybe the coloring wasn't helping. I don't know. There was some rough panels in that for sure.
Yeah, and it's like it's frustrating when it's like this is, this is a main book. Main books should have consistent art. Like it should be consistent.
And I will say it's not even because there are times where it's like I look at a book and I'm like, you know what, this art is all correct. It's just maybe not a style I like. And so like in that I try to make sure I mention that. There were definitely some things where I'm like,
that's just off.
These are wrong.
Yeah.
That's
not a style.
Yeah.
That's just broken. John Jays says, loving the channels. Thank you very much, John. Was trying to remember a run on Hulk where Bruce works for S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hulk's used for missions. I think that's Indestructible Hulk. It's the one where he's like, it's got like kind of like a painterly quality on the covers. It might have been during Marvel Now. I don't remember. I have it. Also, What on Earth is Donny Cates's run? It's Starship Hulk, man. Rewatch our back issues. It's a lot of fun. I am actually looking forward to seeing where it ends up now, because I think we're getting more very soon. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Hrishi Venkatesh says, I don't get the Kamala thing. Like, what was that? I know. I don't know. It's just inconsistent. Just doesn't work. Girk Pectus also says, Freddy versus Ash versus Jason on back issues. No. No, only because like no one's gonna wanna. It's not gonna be enough. Girk Pectus, any chance of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash on back issues? I love. I know. I hear you, and I think it'd be fun, and I would like to try it sometime, but I don't love those properties. I'm not going to take the hit just to do it. And that's what we do. Alden Tolbert, we need an Aunt May series. Please let Marvel do it. I mean, Sony would like for you to do that, because Sony considered doing an Aunt May movie.
The immortal Aunt May.
That's very true. I love it. Tom, hey guys, hope you're doing all right. Have you been checking out Superman Space Age? I gave one Dark Knight a read, but my local comic shop had the first issue missing. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, you still can get the gist of that book for sure. But if you can find now you're on like a hunt. I can go and find the other one.
That's true. But no, I haven't read Space Age.
Jock does a great job.
Yeah, he wrote it too. No.
He wrote it and drew it. Whole thing's dope looking.
Yeah, we have the hardcover.
We do.
So let's recommend some comics that are coming out this week that we think you should check out. But before we do, of course, don't forget that we are going to be at New York Comic Con. If you are going to be there Saturday between 12 and 1:30 p.m. at the Joe Kubert School of Art booth, that's on Artist Alley, booth number 1A7. If you check our social medias, particularly mine, Twitter at Sal Says What, Tiffany at The Real Zoobs. But if you go to Instagram, ComicPop Official, and anywhere else, we're going to have all the signage and stuff posted there, so you can check that out. And if you're not sure, you can check Instagram or Twitter And I'll give you the heads up about where to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously Batman number 128. It's Zdarsky's Batman. It's an incredible series. It's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. Check that out. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earth number 5 is coming out. Yay! We're 2 issues away from the finale of this series and the new bold era of DC. I know you're really excited, Tiffany. Hulk number 9.
Pariah all the time
is returning. I'm really excited about Hulk number 9 coming back. Hooray! I actually referenced this book in the episode that we did on this first arc on back issues. I am just remembering, I'm like, oh, we used that cover because that pays off a question that Ethan had in the show. So yeah, we're finally getting that. Dan Slott is returning to Spider-Man because Marvel has no faith in Zeb Wells, and so they created a whole new book just called, it's the Jay Leno Show next to Conan O'Brien's Tonight Show, called Spider-Man number 1 from Dan Slott and Mark Bagley. That's what this book is.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
That's what that is.
Wow.
They're like, oh, we don't want to lose you, so we'll give you your own show.
Put Bagley over there.
Yeah. That way it comes out.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like that fucking last issue. Ant-Man, I recommended last time, but like it came out last week and I didn't read it, and I do apologize. I know I plugged it, but the next issue is coming out this Wednesday, so I'll have to check that out as well.
Yeah.
And that's it for me. Oh, I did hear that Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures is coming out, and it's like a book that is paying off the continuity of the animated series from '87. And so it's like a continuation of that series in comic book form.
Right.
And I was like, how did it take this long for that to happen?
That's a really good question.
Right.
This week I'm going to be recommending X-Men Red number 7. Yes, please. Yes. I'm so excited.
Please write more. That's my note.
Please write more. Another Judgment Day tie-in. I'm fine with that. Absolutely fine with that. Arakko has been like irrevocably changed because of what's going on with Judgment Day. So yeah, absolutely. Marauders number 7 is coming out. This book we'll see how this issue goes. I might drop this book, not because it's like necessarily bad, but it's like I want to open up my time to be able to sample some other offerings from the comic book world. This one might be on the chopping block for me. We shall see. It will not be AXE X-Men number 1. Definitely going to be picking that up because I like hopefully I like this one. All the AXE direct tie-ins like this. This one will be written by Kieran Gillen. So
yeah, there you go.
I'm picking that one
essential
up for absolute sure. Additionally, AXE Star Fox number 1 is coming out, also written by Kieran Gillen. How does this man find the time?
I know, right?
Successfully launched an incredible Kickstarter and also writes 12,000 comic books.
It's true.
I just have. Please let us know your timekeeping secrets, sir. I need them. If you wanted to get into Scott-tober,
that's right.
But perhaps didn't want to do the digital comicsology releases. Obviously they've been printed by
We Have
companies.
Demons came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Night of the Ghoul is coming out this week by Dark Horse. So if you wanted to try that out, you'll be able to get a physical copy of that.
Yep.
That's the Scott Snyder, Francesco Francavilla. I don't know what I was trying to come up with.
I've read that entire series. It's great.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's great. It's worth reading.
Also, if you're like really excited for the Black Adam movie, Black Adam, the Justice Society Files, Dr. Fate number 1 is coming out. I'm going to guess they're going to be doing these in order to try to get some folks excited. Not excited for the movie, but like to have like a little more knowledge and maybe take this opportunity to get folks into these characters in comics.
Yeah. This is the first book starring Dr. Fate that's come out from DC in a long time. So
he's been in things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about the other book I wanted to recommend.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
Dark Ride number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I read this and it's fun. It's, it's cute. It's Josh Williamson, Andre Bresson. This is a little independent book from Skybound, which is basically like what if Walt Disney was a creepy murdering occultist?
That sounds great.
And made like a Disney World that was based off of just straight up horror.
I mean, how could you make the most magical place on earth if not by offering things to the
Dark Lord? Exactly. That's the idea. Yeah.
I might want to check that out because I first discovered Joshua Williamson through Birthright.
That's
so
right.
I like his independent creations. I've also liked some of his other stuff too. I'm just putting it out there, folks.
Yeah.
All right. I have to keep reminding you guys and Josh of that. I'm sorry. I just don't care for Dark Crisis. I think that's it for me. I'm sure there's other things that I missed. that like I might be checking out this week, although this week is a little rough for us in terms of trying to get reading in. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but we do want to thank all of you, and especially we also got a couple more questions. Girk Pectus, you mentioned Patton Oswalt. Do you like Paul Scheer CBs in comedy? Hero, Cosmic Ghost Rider. He's not my favorite comedian, but I like his comic books. I don't care for his comedy. If he's the one who wrote the Cosmic Ghost Rider Destroys the Marvel Universe, then I really enjoyed that. I don't think he was, but if he did, then I rescind that. But I'm not a huge fan of his comedy. I know him. I'm very plugged into like the stand-up comedy scene. So I know him, and I don't care for his work. But listen, we want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, check out Tiffany on twitch.tv/ComicPop, or subscribe to the Twitch or to the Twitch VOD YouTube channel, ComicPop Plays. You can check out Tiffany playing video games on that every weekend. Otherwise, we want to thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you at New York Comic Con. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye.